Hey guys, I'm just doing a quick tutorial on how to install the North Dakota State and South Dakota State mod on NCAA 14 college football revamped. Just a quick tutorial for everyone out there that's trying to install this or any other mods. This should apply to really anything AST related with the college football video game. But that being said, we'll go ahead and get into it. So first off, you're going to have to download this file, the NDSU-SDSU zip folder. You can download that in the College Football Revamp Discord. It is posted in there. I will have an updated link here soon, since I did update the stadium a little bit. Speaking of, I did not make these files, or at least the uniforms and the North Dakota State Stadium. So shout out to those people who made it. I know Cramp on the Discord um, link. He made the stadium, the Fargo Dome, and then I did customize the South Dakota State Stadium a little bit. It's nothing compared to what Cramp did, but it's, hey, it's there. Also, the uniforms I did not create. Those uniforms were already in the game. All I did was edit the XML files, which you will see inside the folder. Two XML files, which basically direct the teams in which they will be replacing, which is going to be Rice and New Mexico. And that's New Mexico Lobos, not New Mexico State, which I think was already replaced. But that being said, I'm just redirecting the uniforms that you select to the pre-existing uniforms that were created in the game. So I do not take any credit for creating those uniforms or the stadium for North Dakota State and the field for North Dakota State. Okay, that being said, everything else I did put together into this fun little zip folder for you to make it a little easy. But that being said, to get started, I just want to note that I did name all these files to the actual like parent file that they're going to be imported to make it a little easier on you. It's literally as simple as fe2ig. That one file is going to get all of these files imported into it. And then the interface is going to get this file, and the patch is going to get this file. That's it. That is all you have to do, and then this is your user data. This goes in your roster file. But I'm going to show you how to do all that. So to begin with, you're going to want to open your user directory. I have a shortcut there, so if you're using RPCS3, the emulator for PS3 on PC, then you're going to go into your directory where it's installed, dev, hard drive, disk, the name of the game, PS3, and then user directory. It might be a little different for you, but that's how mine works. If you're on PS3, you're just going to go into the where the game's installed, PS3 game, user directory, and you should be able to see these two files in here. But you're going to go ahead and extract these two files right here, fe2ig and interface. So right click, copy, and then you're going to go ahead and open up a folder. In my case, I'm going to open up my little mod tools folder. Go into AST. I already have one in there, which I don't need anymore. I'm going to go ahead and paste these two files in here. So we're basically creating clones of what you already have in your NCAA game, and we're going to edit these clones. We're gonna import the files that I posted, and get this added to the game. So now that we have those two files there, we're going to also extract one more file. Let me open up the user directory again. So this file is not going to be in the user directory. We do have to go into a different folder. For me, I have to go back to disk, or dev hdd0, and then go into game. We'll let this load. And then we want to go into the game's game ID, which in this case is plus 31159, and then user directory, and then DLC. Once you're in DLC, this is the DLC folder. you're going to have a patch file down here. Your patch file is going to look a little different than mine because mine's already decrypted, but you're going to have one with an edat, a .edat on the end of it. And so that .edat file, you're going to right click it, and you're going to copy it, and you're going to go ahead and go into your user directory, or not your user directory, sorry, your mod folder. And then we're going to go into the AST and just drop it in there. The AST folder where you're copying and pasting everything. You're just going to drag and drop that file in there. So you're going to have 3 files, fe2ig, interface, and patch. Those are the 3 files that you're editing, that you're going to be changing and importing the mod into. So to get started, the patch file is going to be edat for y'all. So just to make it look a little bit closer to what y'all have. Don't know if that's going to screw my file up, but that's why you make copies. But so if you have an edat file, you're going to want to go into your true ancestor edat rebuilder. I do not have the link for this. If you need that, I'll post it in the description below. However, it's going to be on the Discord. It's one of the main applications you'll be using, that and the AST editor. So you're going to go into that true ancestor edat rebuilder, and then the edat folder, and then you're just going to put that edat file in there. Once you put the edat file in there, make sure you have Java. That's a really important thing to note. I cannot understate that, otherwise this won't work. Then you go into the rebuilder.exe. You'll have this super simple. It says decrypt edat only. You're going to press 1, hit enter. It's going to say, hey, this is your edat file. Do you want to decrypt it? So you're going to press 1, then you're going to press enter. I'm not going to do that because it's going to screw this file up and I won't be able to show you all the rest. But basically you'll do that. It's going to say, okay, this file's decrypting. It'll take maybe 20 seconds, maybe a little bit more. Don't quote me on that, but once it's done, you can close out of this, and in your edat folder, you're going to have a new file that's going to end with .dat. And if you get that file, that's what you want. Okay, you'll have 2 files in here, edat and dat. You can delete the edat if you want, or use it as a backup, but that's the encrypted patch, and we won't need that no more. But with your dat file, you're going to go ahead and rename this to qkl_patch.ast. That's what it has to be named for this to work properly. Once you have that done, you can go ahead and cut that out of there and bring it back to your AST folder, because now you have that completely decrypted and ready to be edited. So to begin, you're going to go ahead and open up your AST editor. Mine is, I already have a quick link to go to it, so I'm not always going to go into here, so you're going to see me clicking down here. But you open your AST editor, you're going to go to File, Open AST, and then you're going to go ahead and open fe2ig.ast. It's going to take a few seconds to open depending on how decent your computer is, but once that opens up, then you can go to work. So this is where you're going to start importing everything. This zip file that I provided for you. Once again, I am providing a newer updated one, and I may update it down the road, so just look out for that. But you're going to go ahead and drag and drop this NDSU-SDSU folder out. Once you have that extracted, you're going to go ahead and open that folder. Go ahead and put that to the side. If you want to make it nice and organized, you can have that on one side and this on the other. Makes it really easy. And then you're going to see fe2ig all the way down, all the fe2igs. We're importing every single one of these. Okay, so what are we going to do? 381. We're going to go over here, which I guess you cannot have it like that. Excuse me. Keep it like that, right? So 381. So we're going to scroll down, and we're looking for this number column. We're not looking at anything else. Now, that being said, going in the future, you can look for certain files with the QBMS if you're using the organized sheet, this little guy right here. Just want to throw that out there. If y'all are looking for certain files that say don't have the numbers on them, see E5D, you can go in there and you can actually find that file in the AST without looking for the number. You can actually find it right here if you look for that exact QBMS. But back to it. So the FE2IG file 381. So we're going to go to 381, which is right here. Right click, replace, and you're going to go to that location which we extracted on our desktop. Select 381, open. Boom. Now it's going to be imported. Then we're going to go ahead and select 411. Right click, replace, select 411. Basically, you're going to repeat this process all the way down for all the FE2IG files, okay? You're going to repeat the same process all the way down. Once you're done with that, you can proceed to the next step. We're going to go ahead and we already imported every single FE2IG file, so you have all of these imported into this AST editor. You've replaced every single one that has this number next to it. And once you're done with that, you're going to hit File, Save As, and we're going to go ahead and go back to that same folder that we have our ASTs in. This is how I usually do it. You can do it differently, but this is how I do it. You're going to name this at the very beginning. You're going to name it New. This is how I keep track of it. So this is your new file. This is your edited file. This is what you imported everything into. You'll name it New, Q, KL, etc., and hit Save. Right? Now it's going to do its thing. It's going to save. Alright, now that that save's done, this AST editor, we're going to go ahead and close out of this so it doesn't interfere with anything else. Now we're going to move on to the interface file, which just has one file that we have to import. So we're going to go ahead and do that. File, open. We're going to open that interface.ast. Open that up. Opens pretty quick. File 141. Go find it. 141, right click, replace. Go to where this is located on the desktop. 141, interface file 141, that's how you know. Select open, boom, there it is. File, save as. We're going to go back to where our AST folder is, where the main ones are. Select interface. Then you can rename this to new, right? We're not overwriting anything, by the way. We are just editing these and then making a new file. So technically these are basically your backups. So you can always revert to these if you need to. But now we have that new. We're going to hit save, saving, and it's done. Now we're going to close out of that. One last file to go in the ASTs, and that's going to be your patch file, the one we decrypted. So we're going to open the AST editor once more, open that AST, select patch, open, and we're replacing file number 5. Okay, so we're going to go to file number 5, right click, replace, go to where it's located, file number 5. Of course, like I mentioned, the patch file, that's what you're looking for. Select open. Okay, now that is replacing it. Save as. We're going to go to where we are keeping our main files at. We're going to select patch. All that's doing whenever I select it, it's just putting the name down here. That's why I select it. And then we're just going to type new. And there's a new file. Saved. Done. Okay, we edited the main files that we needed to edit. Now that that's done, all we have to do is just import it into the main folder. That's where you're going to open your user directory once again. Of course, like I said, I have that shortcut on my desktop. Makes it a little easier. And now that you have this folder pulled up, you're going to go ahead, if you want to back up these files, we don't necessarily need to do that because we already technically have them backed up in our mod folder, in our AST folder. So we already have them backed up. These are basically the backup, so we don't need to back them up. So you can go ahead and overwrite them. And what I mean by that is you can select these two files that we don't need anymore and just right click and delete. I'm not going to do that because I do not need to import these because I already have them in my game. But you can select these, right click, delete. Once those are deleted, you can drag the interface FE2IG over here. Once that's dragged over there, go ahead and rename these to without the new. Once you rename it, it's going to ask you, well, it won't ask you that because you already deleted it, and then that'll be done. Do the same thing for interface. Okay. Once you are done with that, it should look something like this. Okay. You won't have that back folder. That's my main emergency backup, but you'll have something like this, right? So now we have to go put that patch file back into the DLC folder. So we're going to go back to hdd0 game plus user directory DLC, and you won't have this patch file. You might have the edat. If you have the .edat file in there, you're going to go ahead and delete that. You do not want to leave that in there, otherwise it will corrupt the file. If you want to make a backup folder, you can do that. It won't interfere with the game. You can put your backup files in the backup folder inside of the DLC folder. It's perfectly fine. But you're going to go ahead and drag that patch file on over. That's going to look just like this when you're all said and done. Like I mentioned, you may not have the back folder, but it'll look something like this. Once you are done with that, your game is already set up. The last thing you have to do is import the user data, the actual roster file. The roster, I will mention, it doesn't have the true players in real life. All I did was change the teams from Rice to NDSU, North Dakota State, and then I did New Mexico to South Dakota State. So the true players in real life, they're not in there. If you want to do that, if you want to edit the roster file, by all means, you can do that. Please post it. That would be awesome. But nonetheless, I did edit that roster file because it does change the stadiums in the game. I cannot overstate this enough. If you want to use the stadiums that were customized for the teams, you have to use this roster file, and you have to use Dynasty. If you don't use Dynasty, if you go Exhibition, you're going to have to select the specific stadium, which is Idaho's field or stadium for North Dakota State, and then it's Rice's stadium for South Dakota State. Okay, those are the two stadiums that are being used by the teams. So that being said, the user data file in here, we're going to go ahead and open your save data area, which for RPCS3, it's dev, hard drive, home, and then it's whatever home folder you have. Select that, save data, and then you want to look for your roster. You want to look for the roster in here. If you don't already have a roster, go ahead and download the latest roster, updated roster online, or really any roster at all will work, because we are replacing the user data folder or file. So so basically, once you have this open, you're going to select that user data, delete, and then you're going to take the user data in this folder, NDSU-SDSU, move that over. Boom, should look something like that. Then you are all done. After that, go ahead and start your game up, test it out, make sure everything works, and enjoy. It will look something like this. I did choose the Orange Bowl to play in, so it is a little different than what you would see, or Citrus Bowl, pardon me. But that being said, I have not changed the end zones, so you will see the end zones with the teams that they swapped out. So whenever you play bowl games, it'll look like that. But the uniforms are there, the names are there. I wasn't able to get North Dakota State the full name down below, like in that score bug right there. Wasn't able to do that, unfortunately, because of the team I replaced. I may change that in the future, but in the meantime, enjoy the mod. If you enjoy this, please give me a like, subscribe, and comment on the video if you got any questions. Alright, thanks.